station. This is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
I'm ready for the event.
Washington Post, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Dana Monroe with the Washington Post. How do you hear me?
Hi, Dana. Hello from the ISS. I hear you loud and clear. How about me?
I can hear you. Thank you so much for talking to me all the way up there. Thank you. Um,
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Oh, it's a delay. I see. Well, I'm just gonna ask you a couple of quick questions. I have short time. So the first thing I wanted to ask was what made you want to become an astronaut?
That's a great question. I mean, I actually don't know. For as far back as I can remember, so when I was a little kid, I was always fascinated by exploration and in particular space. I think it's one of those things that a lot of kids have fascinations with, and I just never grew out of. It's something that's always been a big point of curiosity for me, and being an astronaut felt like the best way to explore space. So it was something I dreamed about as a kid, and never let go of that dream throughout my life.
And I cover Montgomery County and wanted to ask how your upbringing in Potomac and your experience with the Montgomery County schools prepared you, fostered your interest in space, etc.
Yeah, I do not think I would be where I am today without the upbringing I had in Montgomery County, in particular the fabulous public school system that we have. I felt like growing up, I had so many opportunities to pursue my interest in science and math. I was able to, get tons of support from my teachers. Go to one of our fantastic magnet schools. I went to Blair High School, which just had fantastic opportunities to really push my passion for science and to give me the opportunities to really explore what it would look like to be a scientist. I was also able to take advantage of the fact that there are a ton of there are just all these wonderful opportunities with federal research labs. As a high schooler, I was able to work basically do astronomy research at the Navy Research Lab in D.C. And so, our proximity to all these resources really, I think, gave me a lot of opportunities. And one other thing that I think is pretty special about Montgomery County is its diversity. The fact that you're surrounded by people from all over who come from all over, and on the International Space Station, we're a collaboration of 15 different countries, and my work every day involves interfacing with people from all across the world. And I think growing up in Montgomery County, you get really comfortable and really comfortable with that, which I think is really, really wonderful.
Yeah. And you were saying that you just never let this dream go. What drove your perseverance over the past 40 some years?
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing was being an astronaut and space exploration was always my dream, and it was always something that I aspired to. But I think it was also always something that I would have been totally okay in my life had I never made it as an astronaut. I loved doing what I was doing. I was working as a physicist. But the only reason I got to being a physicist was because of this dream of being an astronaut made me think that, hey, it might be possible that you could be a scientist, that you could be an astronomer, that you could be a researcher. And so I think the thing that was powerful for me is I had this dream, but the dream was something that it was always there as an aspiration, and I was always okay if I never fully made it. But I think that helped me hold on to it, and I still kept that dream, and still when the opportunity came to apply, I still applied, and here I am. So I feel extremely fortunate to have been able to make it. But I also feel like I was very happy using that dream as a motivation to excel in other areas in my life.
And what would you tell your younger self now? I imagine when you were like 4 or 5, you didn't expect you would make it to space, and now you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'd tell my younger self is that it's great to dream, keep dreaming, and follow that dream, and it'll lead you to really interesting places. And I think that was absolutely true in my life, in that following this dream led me to a wonderful career, a super satisfying career, and some wonderful opportunities that I would never have had. And it also led me up here. It led me to reach that dream. So I think keep following it. Don't give up.
If you feel like you would have been satisfied in life without doing this, why did you decide to do it anyway?
Well, I would have been satisfied if I hadn't done it, but this is definitely something I wanted to do. It really embodies a lot of the things that I'm fascinated by. Just a curiosity about exploring and about pushing our knowledge further, and about doing something that's for the good of all. I mean, the research we do up here is really targeted at making the world a better place for everybody, and so I think I think I was satisfied in doing what I was doing before I became an astronaut, but I also, I'm not content just being satisfied. I always want to push for something more, and this is really lived up to everything I'd hoped.
Can you tell me a little more about what about exploration, space exploration, or, when you were in Australia, all of those things, what is so exciting about that to you, finding things, knowing things that we don't know yet?
That's a great question. I think for me, I've always been just a very curious person. And curiosity has always been a huge motivating factor for me, trying to understand and ask the question why. Why is something the way it is, and how can we understand that? And I think that that's led me throughout my life to try to explore things, ask questions, and then explore where those questions lead. And oftentimes they've led to pretty interesting places.
And what are you doing in your downtime up there? Do you like watch TV? Like do you have downtime?
We're pretty busy up here, but we do have a little bit of downtime. And I think most of the time, what I do is I try to call my friends and family. I think one of the challenges is that we are, even though we are only 240 miles above the surface of the Earth, we're still pretty far away. And I'm going to be up here for an eight-month mission, and so staying connected with my friends and family back home and my daughters is really important to me. So that's something I've spent a lot of time doing. And the other thing that's really nice to do is to get the chance to look out the window. We have a pretty incredible view from up here, and so that's something I'm excited about and really looking forward to doing a lot of during my time up here.
What does it look like out the window?
I think that's one of the things that just doesn't disappoint. You see these fabulous pictures of what the Earth looks like from space, and that's what your view out the window looks like every day. You can see basically, huge swaths of the world moving by, the view of, city lights at night, or just the wonderful natural beauty of our Earth. It's just incredible.
What does that do to your perspective on life? Like you must feel like so tiny and insignificant. Like what does it feel like to look at the earth from so far away?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that it almost feels a little bit trite, but it's exactly what it as you said, it's exactly what it makes you feel. I think the biggest emotion for me that I get when I sort of look out the window is this sense of how every everybody that I care about and know and love is on this thing that I can see the whole extent of, and there's a few people on station that I also love and care about, but like the just how small and fragile our Earth looks. That really leaves an impression on you when you get a chance to see it from up here.
How does it feel to have achieved this dream and now in 8 months will have done it and then that chapter is kind of closed?
Well, I'm hoping that this is just the beginning, and that the chapter isn't closed. But it feels, having dreamt of becoming an astronaut and flying to space and actually achieving it, I think for me, I just feel incredibly fortunate and lucky. I know I put in a lot of hard work to get to where I am, but I also feel like I was, extremely fortunate to have this opportunity. And so I think the biggest emotion that I feel is just gratitude. Gratitude for all the people that have helped me throughout my life to pursue this passion, and to all the opportunities that I had, to be able to put myself in a position to be lucky to get this role. So I think that's the biggest thing I feel, and I think I feel very, very much that this is really just the beginning, and I want to do really good work up here and continue to help push our space program forward, push humanity's knowledge forward as we continue to explore.
I believe your parents told me that Star Trek was a big inspiration for you. Can you tell me about, if that's true, can you tell me about what about that show inspired you?
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, we didn't watch a lot of TV, but that was one of the one TV show that we watched, sort of together as a family. And I think that the ethos that they kind of express on Star Trek, this one of wanting to explore for the benefit of all. I feel like I don't know if that came from Star Trek, but that's certainly something that's really imprinted on me and something I firmly believe in. And so I think that that's helped me to continue to have this passion for exploration.
Is there one thing you're most excited to do up there in the next 8 months?
Oh gosh, it's hard to say what one thing is. I think there's a bunch of things. I think the biggest thing is I know I've worked really hard to be here, and as an astronaut, you're part of a much bigger team that is really helping to do all the incredible science and work that we're doing up here on this laboratory. And I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about is putting that training into practice and doing a good job, helping to push all of the experiments forward that we're working on. Some of the other things that I'm pretty excited about are, just looking out the window, getting some really nice photographs, hopefully, of places that are special to me, and yeah, hopefully having the opportunity to continue to work really closely with my crewmates, which has been really an absolute pleasure.
And how is this different and similar to how what you expected it to be like as a child?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say one of the things, I don't know if this is different than what I expected as a child, but just maybe not something I thought about as a child, but how much of a team effort space exploration is. We are part of we have 7 folks up here on the International Space Station right now, but we have hundreds of people down on the ground that we're working with, that we're working hand in hand with every day around the world as part of a giant team to make everything happen. And I always knew that space flight was a big team effort with mission control and the crew on the spacecraft, but I never quite realized the extent of the team that you're a part of, and that's been super satisfying and super fun to be a part of. I think one of the things that is a little bit the same that I sort of expected was just how awe-inspiring the view is from up here. It's just absolutely incredible.
What are you going to take photos of? What places are special to you that you want photos of?
Definitely Montgomery County in D.C., where I grew up. All the places that I've lived, and then some other places that I'm really looking forward to taking pictures of are some of our national parks, which I absolutely love, and are just absolutely beautiful on the ground. And I'm curious to see their beauty from above as well.
Can you tell it's Montgomery County from that far away?
Absolutely, yeah. We have some really nice cameras up here with pretty good lenses. So, I'm hoping I can, follow I-270 and track and find where I grew up and get some pictures of that. We'll see.
And how is the space food? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? What's your favorite?
The space food. The space food is really good, actually. We have a mix of food. We have some dehydrated food and some thermostabilized food. It's a lot like food. It's a lot like camping food or like hiking, backpacking food. But it's like surprisingly pretty good, like really good. We have a food lab that works really hard to make sure that we have a good variety of dishes. I don't know that I have any sort of standout like super favorites, but I will say that tortillas are a big favorite among our crew. We can't have crumbly bread, but tortillas are a great stand-in. We use those a lot. Yeah, so it's fun.
And how does it feel physically to be up there? I know you trained for it, but I'm sure that it's different a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a different, you train for it, but it's definitely being, weightless and in microgravity. It's a super interesting experience. I think it takes, at least it took me a couple days for my brain to kind of get used to it. As you can kind of see around us, you don't just sort of you work in three dimensions. So, we have lockers and drawers and experiments that are on the walls, but are also on the ceilings and on the floor. And every time you're working on something, it takes a couple days, but then your brain starts. You're working on the ceiling. All of a sudden, your brain flips around, and now the ceiling is just kind of normally in front of you. And so it's been an interesting experience seeing how your brain adapts to being in this weightless environment. It is a lot of fun to get to fly around and to let go of things and have them float. It's a really neat experience.
Will you get to do a spacewalk?
That's the hope. We have some spacewalks on the schedule coming up in January, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to go out and be a part of that. It looks like that might happen, and so I'm going to be pretty excited. I think that'll be a really great experience, and I think I also might get the chance to support as the operator of our robotic arm for another one. So that should be a really neat experience as well.
Is there a tiny part of you that's a little scared to walk in space?
It's funny. I think when it's something, at least for me, when it's something you train so much at, you understand the things that are risks, but you also understand all the things we're doing to mitigate those risks, and you've controlled the things that you can control, and then there are certain things that are just totally out of your control. And I think when you have a deep understanding of kind of what's all going into it, at least for me, that helps take a lot of those sort of fearful emotions out of it, because you're prepared, you've done everything you can, and everything else is just you just have to respond to it when it happens.
It sounds like we're out of time. Thank you so much for your time. This was so cool to watch and talk to you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, Dan. I really enjoyed talking to you, and thanks for sharing my story with everyone back home. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.